All right, we will call the meeting to order. Jen, would you take roll, please?
Commissioner Corbin?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson? Commissioner Waldner?
Here.
Commissioner Thale?
Here.
And Mayor Lindsay.
Here. You have before you the agenda for this evening.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Appearances, acknowledgements. Acknowledge the application for the temporary alcohol license and set a date of hearing for the Madison Knights of Columbus. Jen, did you want to address that?
Sure, we've seen these before. Madison Knights of Columbus has a gala, St. Thomas School Gala. It is scheduled for November 18th at the St. Thomas School Gym. It is just a one-day temporary alcohol license application. If you would acknowledge this evening and set the date of hearing, please.
Do you have the date?
I do, October 31st, 5:35.
I'll make a motion that we acknowledge the application for temporary alcohol license and set the date of hearing for October 31st at 5:35 for the Madison Knights of Columbus.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Is there anything anyone wants to remove from the consent calendar?
Motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Seeing no old business, under new business, authorize the mayor to sign a certificate of substantial completion, Amert Construction Company, for the animal shelter. Chad, do you want to address that?
Yes, I can. Thank you. This is a typical document that we use in our contracts. It just memorializes when, obviously, substantial completion is met. That's defined in some of the other contract documents. We would indicate that August 30th is when substantial completion was met. That's the work that the contractor accomplished. Our forces had Russ and others who had worked for the city and the electric department put in a lot of work, more than I could even talk about. But the contractors achieved substantial completion by August 30th. The non-HVAC work was done by July 29th. And so we did transmit a punch list. It was rather short to the contractor. They're working on that, and when we get all those things addressed and finalized, then we'll issue the final payment. This is substantial completion certificate is an interim item related to that. You can see the contractor's amended responsibilities. Those are outlined in the punch list. Those are just some things that we agreed to. If one of them is startup, they have to start up the HVAC systems and provide, if we have any problems with that, to amend the manual that he gave us for clarity for Russ and the operators. They need to come back and do that. So those are some minor things that we've done. So with that, I could defer to Jen or Russ if he has anything else in. But this is related to the contract for them. And they met all their deadlines, and there's no liquidated damages anticipated. As far as the contract goes, there was a couple small changes to add, about $2,300 worth to what we will owe Amert. One was for some roofing underlayment material, and the other was for some insulation, if I recall correctly, on the interior of the foundation, because it was a heated floor, to put them against the foundation. They added up to about $2,300. So those will be reflected in the final pay application.
Okay. Russ, did you have anything you wanted to add?
He covered everything there pretty much.
Okay.
Everything seems to be working good with the heating and cooling systems. That's been on for about a month, and don't see. All they have left is put a few vents in and about an hour's worth of work for Barger, and then they're done. So,
Okay.
but everything's coming along pretty good with it.
Very good. Anyone else have any questions or comments?
Cost-wise, can I just give you a quick update?
Certainly.
Back in February, you approved a project with a total cost of approximately $115,260. Russ and I have been watching this budget here like a hawk, especially lately, We have cut checks for almost $103,000 to date. We have got a list of some estimated things that have to get paid yet, and we're looking at an estimated project completion of about $116,500. So about $1,200, give or take, a little bit over that initial approximation.
Okay.
Anything to add?
No, that was really close. I mean, we knew we were gonna be over just a little bit, about 3 weeks ago. And everything's coming in right about what we thought, so.
I want to throw out, I mean, I don't even know who all worked, but Fred, I know a bunch of your guys worked on it, and a lot of the guys from the electric department, Russ, I mean, you've been doing a lot of stuff on this, so it's great. A lot of cross departments and people have been working to put this thing together. I know the PD, Justin and his crew, they've been working on this, so that's just kind of good to see, and it's kind of a neat item to finally come together and get finished. So make sure you thank those guys. I don't even know who all it was, but I know it was a bunch.
Mhm.
Russ has been actually spearheading a lot of the work, so I appreciate all his efforts to get this done too. He really has been the project manager for the most part, trying to get everything all pulled together and done, so.
And it'll be exciting when we get the public in there to see how nice a facility it really is.
It's
It
Looks
really
really
is
nice.
nice.
It is really nice.
Yes, it is.
Since Russ is the animal warden, he'll probably tell us when it's ready for the public to come and
Sounds good.
to walk through, and
I'm
it's,
hoping it's gonna be right around the 1st of November. It might go a couple days past, depending on how I gotta stand and varnish the doors yet. I gotta get my other stuff done before I get that, so give or take a few days.
And main thing is to have it completed
Yep.
when they come through. So, you know, if it takes a few more days, so be it.
Yep, that's kind of what we thought.
Russ can set that up and then have the open house since it's his baby.
Sounds good. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the certificate of substantial completion for Amert Construction Company Incorporated for the animal shelter.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Authorize the mayor to sign the grant agreement with the South Dakota DENR Restricted Use Site. And this is a $17,000 grant in that. Fred, did you want to address that?
Just that, this is the grant application, or grant agreement, I guess, it's not the application anymore. We were awarded $17,000 for our project at the restricted use site, so this is actually getting all the paperwork done for the state.
Very good. Jen, Chad, do either one of you have anything you want to add?
No, I think Fred worked with First District to get the application in, and Fred and I had talked today. He's going to continue to kind of shepherd some of these things through, and we'll work together on it, of course, but, yeah.
Get Jen along the way, get it all squared away as much as you can.
Very good.
Get it signed and sent.
Questions or comments? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign grant agreement with the South Dakota DENR restricted use site.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 3, authorize the mayor to sign the agreement with Wink Produce Company, commercial real estate purchase. And I'm going to lead this off. Wink Foods was established in 1919 from the information I could find in the survey from Geotech. It says 1902. But anyway, it's for processing poultry and poultry products. According to the records of information, Wink Foods employed approximately 45 people. Wink Foods ceased production in approximately 2002 and has been in a state of dismantling and disrepair since then. The building has been vacant, and the majority of the machinery and the equipment have been removed. Portions of the roof have deteriorated and fallen into the building. The building is unable to be properly secured. Inside the building are a few very large openings in the floor where equipment was removed. This poses a great danger to persons who enter the building legally or illegally. There are multiple signs of graffiti on the inside of the building and evidence that persons have been in the building. In a recent event, persons entered the building, found their way to the roof where building materials were thrown across the street, damaging neighboring businesses and their buildings. Numerous times, the Madison Police Department has been dispatched to the facility to respond to a report of persons in the building. There are numerous places within the building that have wooden floors that have been exposed to the elements and are unsafe to support people. There is also a wooden elevator shaft surrounded by wooden flooring that has been exposed to the elements and is a potentially dangerous area for persons entering in that area. Over the past few years, efforts have been made to determine what chemicals and other contaminants may be located within the building. Julie Gross from the Lake Area Improvement Corporation was able to obtain a Brownsfield study grant, and both Phase 1 and Phase 2 studies were done showing what is located on the property, the location, and the amounts of the different materials, asbestos, and other chemicals used in the food preparation industry. The locations and quantities are documented, and the procedures outlined for their proper removal and disposal. An estimate of cost for the removal of asbestos was also provided. The current presidential election has shown how a corporate structure is designed to promote entrepreneurial activity while maintaining protection for the personal assets of the officers of the corporation. The corporation must stand alone, and only the assets of the corporation may be used for the efforts of the corporation. Wink Foods' assets for the property described has the building and property as its assets. Mother Nature has been attempting to reclaim the materials of the building, but it's a very slow process. For the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Madison, it is my recommendation as mayor of the city of Madison that the city take possession of the property and begin the process of planning to assist Mother Nature in the dismantling and disposal of the remaining buildings and restore the property to a future safe, functional, and reusable condition. There is no funding budgeted for this project to begin in 2017. I am proposing that 2017 be the year of discovery and research into possible funding sources or assistance, and will keep all options open for the future cleanup and use of this property. And I have brought in pictures and that for of the interior. And today, Chad, myself, Gary Meineke, Julie, John Hunter, am I missing someone? Toured the building again. And since these pictures were taken back in last November, and that there has been more damage and more graffiti inside the building, so we know people are still getting into that building. And last June in 2015, June 3rd of 2015, the city authorized me to sign a letter in support of the Brownsfield Brownsfield Assessment Assistance for the geotech surveying to be done through the grant that Julie was able to obtain. Questions or comments?
So then this is gonna be an LAIC project?
This is going to be a City of Madison project.
I don't know if I like that emphasis, because
Okay.
I feel we're gonna open ourselves up coming down the road for a lot of people. Here's my building. At 10 years, take it. We can't afford to buy property if we're not in the proper budget process to take care of it. And I don't think the city needs to get started in buying property. We got enough of our own property the way it is. When a flood comes through, we got all them flood buyouts that we have to take care of, and pretty soon the taxpayers are gonna be backed up against the wall.
The intent is not to have Madison own more property, but the building has sat in a state of disrepair for 15 years.
I realize that.
And as a city, we need to take and step forward in a situation like this, or it could be another 15 years. There could be a death involved. There could be one of our officers injured when trying to extricate or get people out of the building. It's been a difficult process to get the family to this point. And at this point right here, and that I feel very strongly that it's time that the city steps forward and guides this process forward. There may be grants out there to assist us in the asbestos removal and the building demolition and that, but if it's not our property, then there's nothing we can do but other than just keep watching it and keep chasing people out of it.
Do you have any prospects that could possibly look at that down the road, Julie? Coming to town and building on that lot?
It's kind of a long, narrow lot. I've never marketed it as that, so I'm not sure. There's probably people that would like the lot though, if it was just an empty lot.
I just
Since
don't like
this hit the
getting back.
paper, since this hit the paper Friday, 4 different entities have contacted me with an interest in it.
I just don't want to get stuck with it and have the taxpayers sit on it for a
And I-
while, but
and I
what's the
totally
rest
agree.
of the commissioners feel?
What kind of costs do you think we're gonna have into this, cleaning it up?
The estimated cost of the asbestos removal was 20 to 40,000, maybe 50. Gary Reinecke went through the building, Chad went through the building and that this morning and that. His estimate and that is right around 100,000 to take the building completely down to the basement floor and remove everything in that. So we're looking at, if the city were to pick up all the costs, an estimated $150,000.
That's something we'd hire a contractor to clean up? We wouldn't try to tackle it ourselves?
No, that's something that, there may be something out there, like there's a piece of fence right now that he's been asked to be removed that's right next to another building. We may do something like that with the city, but as far as taking the building down, no. This is something that requires somebody that's done that before.
What are the current owners' responsibilities in this? If we should not do this, if we say there's too much risk for us, what are the current owners' responsibilities in this?
They don't have to do anything.
So we're assuming all is risk, or their risk, I should say.
When it's very much like I said in the previous area here, and one of the presidential candidates has been saying it over and over, when it's a corporate structure, it protects the personal assets. So to get it cleaned up, we would go after the assets of the corporation, which at this point, all I can find are the buildings and the ground.
You have a question over here, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm going to ask if you'd come up to the mic, and that way, people at home would be able to hear the question. And if you'd state your name, please, so that they know.
My name is John Rice. I own the property right east of there.
Okay?
Now, when I bought that property down there, I found out something that I didn't know afterwards, and that's my own fault. I found out that the railroad owns within 6 inches of the back side. And to my understanding, that runs all the way down through Hinks. So the fourth of that their land is on the railroad.
Okay. There are 2 deeds to the property, and Winks did buy the railroad property behind. So in this, both of the deeds are included in this purchase agreement. So you are correct in the original plat of the original building, but there's a second one that includes the railroad property that is behind it.
Let me ask you
Yes.
Is there enough room there according to the city rules? And he's not listening. Is there enough room to put a building or business on that land?
I would defer to Chad.
Because you gotta have so much frontage.
It is different in a commercial area, and that's why I'm deferring to Chad. In a
It's in the-
residential, it's
Yeah, this
different
isn't
than-
I think it's light manufacturing is what it is there. And so there's large setbacks there in that area. And as far as erecting a structure similar to Madison Lawn Care, they have to go through a combination conditional use / variance to get approval. Because then anytime it doesn't fit into what the zoning ordinance say, you have to do that. So as you could expect, light manufacturing, they have large setbacks that they require, and so these are narrow lots. That's exactly the issue that Madison Lawn Care came up. So probably is accurate that no, without getting a conditional use or variance, that had been granted with Madison Lawn Care. The board would have to consider that as well. Likely, well, that was before my time, but likely the fire hall had to go through something similar as well. So it seems as if, yeah, those kind of things have been talked about at those times.
Does that answer your question, John? Somewhat, okay. Thank you, thank you.
Another thing, has that ground been tested for ammonia and all
The
of
ground and all of it has been tested. The geotech studies are here, and it goes through, they did soil borings in 6 locations? It seems to me like 6 locations. So soil borings were done, and the other thing in that I learned throughout this couple-year-long process, at one time, there used to be 4 gas stations on that street. And so there is some, drive into whichever one you want. There is some ground underneath that is contaminated, and in here, the state says, as long as it's left alone, leave it alone. But if you were to develop and dig down to that area, then you'd have to do like was done on the state highway out here. You would have to then take care of that soil and carry it away to somewhere else. But that would be in the rebuilding or building of something new.
Is there any fuel tanks there on the west edge of that?
West edge,
They've all been removed in 2001, all the underground tanks.
Okay,
okay?
And the state has that.
okay. Thank you.
Good question.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you from the public safety side, this is it's unfortunate that businesses that, move out and then they just leave their buildings to wither away and weather away. And, but at the same time, I think we have to step up and take care of it. And I think over 2017, I guess I'm confident in some of the work of the LAIC that, they'd be able to come up with some options for us. I think we can find some other options, whether it's at the end of the day that we have to juggle some things in our budget and take care of some things there. But I can tell you that, I'm not comfortable and I don't like it that my officers have to go in there. We have had officers injured chasing kids out of there. It's just a bad environment for our youth to go and hang out and do that kind of things, whatever it is youth do. And so I can also, being on the commission for a number of years, we've worked on this thing for a long time. And to finally get to this level and to this point, it's a huge success of a lot of work from a lot of people. And it's not just people in this room. I know of a lot of community members who have worked extremely hard with these owners to try to get them to this level. And kudos to LAIC helping us with the grant to be able to come in and answer a lot of the questions that I've certainly had as far as, the chemicals and underground tanks. I think DNR came and took those out for us when they were doing their program, and so, it's certainly is it going to cause some expense? Absolutely. Could it in the future? Absolutely. We get some injuries and things in there, it could cost us a whole lot more. And so, I think if we take the year and if we're very diligent in trying to find people that, community members or other ways through LAIC to help remedy this, I think 2017, we should be able to come up with something.
Put some fence around the thing and some boards up on the doors and go from there till we find some financing that we're gonna, cause
one thing that we found-
$150,000, we're just not gonna pick out of the air.
Right.
The one thing that we found in that today when we went through the building is there is a gray door on the north side there that had a padlock assembly on it, and they didn't break the padlock. They broke the hinge assembly, and that door's open. So
I guess
that,
If we did this, I guess that's one of my questions is how are we gonna, we're not doing anything to this for a year, because it's not budgeted for, so we know we're gonna be with this at least a year if we do this. How are we gonna secure the building the best possible? What's the, what are the concerns for security for that? For our own liability, as you
Right.
mentioned.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that, and I can say that I do not have all the answers, but I'm totally in agreement with you.
Well, now that this opportunity's brought itself up, maybe we could reprioritize for 2017 too. Not to deflect here, but on the purchase agreement, we have a closing date of October 1st. Do you know what
This was given to Chip back in August, and we worked with him, and like Mike said, it took some other community members to finally get him in, and it was after October 1st. His attorney said, it's just fine, you can go forward with it as is.
So you don't know when we're going to have a closing date?
David said as soon as, David was already preparing to put together the abstract, because it sounds like either later this week or the first of the week, they're going back to California. And so he wanted to have it in their hands and signed before they left town.
I'll make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the agreement with Wing Produce Company Incorporated for the commercial real estate purchase.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries.
I'm not happy with this, because I think it's gonna cost taxpayers a lot of money going down the road. And once we open our doors for this, we're gonna have 6, 7 other people. When they decide they wanna sell their business,
And,
just let the city take it on.
yep, and Commissioner Thiel, they're welcome to come to us and ask for that, and each one of those will be voted upon. And if a property makes sense for the well-being of our city, then, and if the commission desires, they can move forward with it. If not, they can vote against it and then not do it, so.
And my vote in opposition to that last thing wasn't because I don't think, this would probably be something I feel a little rushed on this issue, to be honest with you.
I think we're
So,
rushing into
but we
this way
voted
too
on it,
quick.
so
It's something
unless we're
that,
gonna recall it, I don't think we have any, we can't really discuss this any further. We voted on it, we moved on the issue, so we need to move on. But
okay, seeing no announcements, no executive session, do we have a motion to adjourn?
so moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the sunshine.